Hello, hello, everyone. Look at this. Isn't he cute? Oh boy. I feel like this was a long time coming. This was I could only live stream so many times, you know. There were only so many stories I could tell. There were only so many things that I could talk about. Like I don't really know what anyone expected. People were asking me to live stream every single day on a schedule. They were saying like, "Star, why don't you why don't you why don't you make a live stream like every single day at I don't know 4 p.m. or something?" You know? Like I was never going to be able to do that because I ran out of things to say at a certain point. Why is he's licking his dick in front of me? That's not okay. Don't do that. Uh, but like, oh no, we're getting sad faces in the chat. I haven't even fully explained what I was gonna say yet. Um, but like, the well was always gonna run out. It wasn't just an endless resource that I could tap information from. I wasn't always going to be able to just keep saying things endlessly. Now some people can do that. Maybe I can if I try hard enough, but like I've been looking at the style of videos that I've made or that I've been making for the longest time, and I find it really boring now. Like making vlogs, I'm not particularly interested in anymore, um, unless I like radically change the way that I'm making them. I don't find the style interesting. Just me walking around my room without really saying much of anything. Uh, like I feel like I've said everything that I can say. And the same is true with like the live streams. And it also feels like the people who would view my live streams are kind of dying off at this point. Like I don't know what was up with that punk bitch motherfucker Admiral Umaru. But he unfriended me. I think it was like a week ago now. It was something like that. And I didn't say anything to him. We've never argued. I've never said a single rude thing to him. I considered that guy one of my best friends. And without even saying anything, he just fucking unfriended me. That shit pissed me off. Fuck that guy. Fuck Admiral Umaru. I should make a video called Fuck Admiral Umaru. Um, but that would be good for views because he has more subscribers than me. That would be funny. But I don't know why he just unfriended me out of the blue. That was bizarre. But you see, um, but yeah, I haven't had the interest in making videos. I want to write more. That's the thing, is that like I'm beginning to realize that I enjoy writing stuff more than I enjoy doing unscripted content. And it's not so much that like I dislike doing unscripted content now. It's just that the kind of unscripted content that I've done for the longest time, I don't really find interesting anymore. I don't like just taking out the camera and talking about one idea and then just going on and on about it forever because I've first of all ran out of ideas that I can do that with. And then second of all, I've done it so many times now that what's the point of keeping on doing it? It's like I'm reinventing the wheel every time or something. It's boring, you know? Um, so I need to change the style of my videos. I need to change what my videos are about and how I make them and how I do them because if I just keep doing them the same way like this, I'm gonna be really bored. Um, but I yeah, so I've been feeling kind of shitty for the last like 2 months. Really, the last like 3 months. If you watch my live streams, you'll know this because I have streams with the title of like real depression hours and stuff. I've been trying to to go outside more and to practice healthier habits and stuff in order to not um to not be as depressed. And I've still been really depressed and I haven't known what the fuck I'm supposed to do. I just feel really bad. Please, someone, someone. I don't know what else to do. I just maybe the reason I haven't liked making videos is just because I've been so depressed. Maybe I'll make this live stream and then like 3 months from now, all of a sudden I'll feel totally different. I don't know. But I've just been so sad that it's really difficult to be able to be able to come up with yeah. Uh, and I don't even really have anything to talk about anymore. Like I used to have all these ideas in streams, or I could just like talk on streams forever about nothing, and it would be fine. But like now, I don't feel the drive to. I stopped talking to No Thank You a while ago. I don't remember when it was. When was it? It was like, was it a week ago now? Was it a week and a half ago? Yeah, no, I stopped talking to that guy because he was always very rude. And I asked him like over and over and over again to stop being rude to me. And he just didn't want to. I think that guy's kind of going insane. Like I'm afraid he might kill himself or something. I don't know what's going on with him, but I I've kind of lost the ability to care at this point because it seems like he just wants to destroy his own life. And so, like me as an individual, there's not really anything that I can do to fix that. If someone wants to destroy their own life, there's not really anything you can do. Because, like, his whole philosophy is based around the idea that, well, if I die, it doesn't matter, so why not just do whatever I want anyway, which is retarded. But that's how he feels. And so you can't you can't really, you can't really do anything to fix that. And so I stopped talking to him just because he was being like constantly rude to me. And I don't know why. Like I thought he and I were friends and I was trying to figure this out. Like I would discuss something with him and he would just say these really mean-spirited things and I was like and I never knew what the hell it was about. And so I was was a little bit intoxicated at the time, um, and it was really late at night, so I didn't have much sleep. But I sent him this fucking long, retarded rant, and I basically just said I don't want to talk to you anymore. So I stopped talking to him, and it's felt way better because I don't have to listen to him jumping down my throat. Being a fucking asshole all the time. And then whenever I ask him just to stop being so condescending or to be nice to me, it's always, "Oh no, it's not that big of a deal, bro. You just have to just be less offended, bro. Just be less offended." And, it really pissed me off. No respect for civility or anything like that. And of course he doesn't, because he's an egoist. No, why would you expect an egoist to have respect for civility or politeness or trying to care about other people's feelings at all? The only person's feelings he cares about are his own. And so if the only thing he's trying to advance is his own self-interest, what possible motivation would he have to try and be nice to me or to accommodate me in any way? I do those things for people because it's the right thing to do, even if like it's troubling or I don't necessarily want to do it. I know it's the right thing to do on an ethical level. Maybe not like in an emotional kind of moral way because I don't usually think in those terms, but I know it's the right thing to do. And so I try to be nice. Like even in my worst phases in my life where I was like I'm a psycho and I'm like a bad guy, bro. Um I was still nice to people. I was just going through a really rough time and hallucinating and stuff like that, and my brain was kind of jumbled in the mix. And so he has the ability to do it. He's just not doing it for his own arrogant and selfish reasons. So I got tired of it, and I just didn't want to talk to him anymore. But it feels like something is missing because No has been my friend for like a year, and not talking to him, it feels weird. Like it feels like, someone who I cared about, someone who was a part of my life for a pretty significant portion of time is just gone now. And I'm not necessarily sad about it. It just feels weird. It does not feel right that's happened. And I don't know. He sounded alright in his newest stream, maybe doing a bit too much drugs, but that's alright. Well, I don't think doing too many drugs is necessarily alright. It's a little bit dangerous. It can sort of affect the way that you interact with other people and the things that you say. That was probably it, is because, like, when I stopped talking to him, he had been, like, drinking every single day. And I don't understand why he drinks so much. Because when you think about like unhealthy coping mechanisms, right? The definition of an unhealthy coping mechanism is something that continues to hurt you and makes your life worse, but you use it to be able to cope with depression. You can get over depression. You just have to work hard enough at it. You have to seek care, you have to apply the right methods. But because he's relied for so long on alcohol, he's just going to continue hurting himself like that. And there's nothing you can do to fix it because it doesn't matter how much reason you give to him. It doesn't matter how logical you explain it. He's just not going to believe it because truth doesn't exist and I'm an egoist anyway. So selfishness is the dream, bro, and I just have to be as selfish as possible while destroying my life around me by constantly drinking and becoming an alcoholic and dying in a few years. This is the mindset, is that if it's not selfishness is the key and selfishness is the dream, and that's why I have to do everything my own way, it's truth doesn't exist, so anything you tell me does not affect my behavior because truth doesn't exist anyway. And it's retarded. It makes no sense. But that's the logic he uses in order to reinforce his bad behavior. And I don't mean to use bad, but like his unhealthy behavior. Um, and this is why like postmodernism and egoism and these kind of ideas are really, really unhealthy for people because it just leads to nihilism. It just leads you to constantly drinking, and the moment that someone tries to get you out of it, you just use the philosophical excuse of like, I just want to be like Diogenes, and Diogenes is the ego ideal because my aesthetics. And being unhealthy is not an aesthetic. It's not an aesthetic. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck how many of you LARPer hikikomori neets are out there trying to tell me, oh, I just wanna hallucinate in my room all the time for the aesthetic. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it fucking works, man. Being unhealthy is not an aesthetic. It's not an aesthetic choice. Being unhealthy is being unhealthy. You know what your aesthetic is? It's like the clothes you wear, the way that you talk, the general characteristics about you. Being unhealthy is not one of them. If it is, it's the worst aesthetic in the world. Do not romanticize sadness. Do not romanticize bad behaviors, because the moment you do that, you end up just making your life surrounded by negative things that make you less happy, that keep you from progressing progressing forward. But oh wait, I forgot. Progressing forward and living healthy is just a spook. It's just one of those things that doesn't exist because truth doesn't exist, bro. Fuck off. Fucking kill yourself. Oh, okay, I didn't mean to say that. But I don't it made me so upset because I realized I cared about this person too much, you know? I wanted this person to be healthy too much. And I think the lesson that I learned that there's some people who you just cannot help, who you just who just want to destroy their own lives, and no matter how much you try to improve your own life as like an example, or try to be a better person, or try to provide a sense of support or comfort, there's just nothing you can do because they're just going to go down a self-destructive path anyway. And if you allow yourself to be hurt by the fact that they're getting hurt, it's just a fool's errand. If you allow yourself to care too much about someone like that, it's just a fool's errand. And I don't know. It's dumb. This is what happens when you put idols on a pedestal. I didn't consider No Thank You an idol. I considered him a friend. Like I just wanted him to be safe. That's the thing. Is that I considered him a friend who I cared about, and seeing him destroy his life like that depressed me. It made me really upset. And I don't know. Uh but I mean he would think that I'm being disingenuous when I say that anyway because oh, are you okay, puppy? But because No always goes back to this talking point that like Star doesn't really care about other people. That's what he always says. He says Star doesn't really care about other people. And that's not true. I do care about other people. Um, I just care about other people in a way that's a little bit like weird or different. Like I care about really specific people. People who are my friends and who I'm close to, like I don't have much emotional attachment to Jim Bob down the street, but I do have emotional attachment to people who I think are cool and who I want to be safe. And when those people aren't safe, it really fucking hurts me because they're the few, the 2% of humanity that are important to me. And I I should have realized sooner that I was only running a fool's errand by trying to care. And of course, this is going to be another case where he would say, I'm using Spook's language, I should just read more Sterner, or I should I should be more nihilistic or something and just not care about other people. But most people don't operate that way. Most people can't just not care about anyone. Most people want to. That's the thing, is that like even though I have emotional problems, I still want to care about other people because that's just the moda operandi. That's what people generally gravitate towards, Reads Nick Land once. I don't understand why anyone would follow a philosopher that like identifies as like a neo-reactionary. Like the Dark Enlightenment was literally it's literally about being a reactionary. That's the idea. So I don't get it. And also, Nick Land uses a lot of like factually inaccurate statements in his books. Like if you read the citations, which I don't think most people don't read the citations in books. No, most people don't have the strength to read, like a 200-page book in the first place, let alone check every footnote that they use. But if you read the citations in Nick Land's books, it doesn't seem, if he has any at all, it doesn't seem like he's really saying anything. Um, it doesn't seem like he's using the evidence that he's trying to use to make his claims in an effective way, or either is completely misrepresenting it. I mean, it's the same thing Robert Conquest does. If you read the Great Terror, like everything Robert Conquest uses in that book is either a secondary source or it's a source that doesn't even have any substantiation whatsoever. Um, and my fucking teacher, my history teacher in ninth grade was telling me how great the Great Terror was and how and that I was like a monster. I was like a monster for saying that the book the book didn't have any evidence. Um, Let me see. Is this a clickbait title? No, it's not a clickbait title. The live streams are probably going to end. Uh, yeah, yeah. I don't have anything to say for streams anymore. Um, there's not really anything. There's not really anything that I want to talk about. Doing streams and doing vlogs is kind of boring now. I want to change the style. I'm thinking of what I'm thinking of doing is changing up like my overall style of videos and trying to do something different. Um, but I don't know how that would go about. I don't want to stay in this room. No, I've been going out a lot more and trying to interact with people IRL. And it's been really refreshing. And it's made me realize just how dangerous this neat stuff is. You know, like once you start identifying with being isolated and it's like I'm an elite neat and I'm gonna stay isolated forever or whatever, or I'm just gonna constantly drink alcohol. You know, this stuff is really, really dangerous. And it you have to try even if you don't want to, even if you don't think you're going to be able to. And that's one of the most difficult parts about depression is that it feels like you can't get better. It feels like it's impossible. And you have to not let that part of your brain control you, because it's easy to fall into the hubris of just feeling like you're correct, of just feeling like no matter what you do, you're always going to be right anyway, and that the depression can beat you. I think someone like Mumkey Jones is a good example of this. Is that Mumkey Jones, for the longest time, said, I won't take antidepressants because I know they won't work anyway. Now, Mumkey Jones is not a psychologist. He didn't have evidence for this, but he said it because that's what he believed, and he always talked about it like he knew everything about it anyway. And that was the sort of hubris that can come about as a result of the hopelessness of depression, is that you feel very hopeless, and then the arrogance and the hubris ends up coming out. And so, do nature vlogs or something. I could do that. There's not a lot of nature where I live. Um, Maybe I could go to the park and do it. I don't know. Oh God. But the thing that makes me mad more than anything are the people who just think they're right about everything. Like, people tend to accuse me of this because I have opinions on things, but I don't think, like, maybe this is just the way people view young people. But I think whenever a young person just has an opinion on something and they state that opinion, just because they have an opinion on something doesn't mean that they believe that they're right about everything. It means they have an opinion. The opinion could change at any time, but they're just telling you what their opinion is. And something people have accused me a lot of is pretending that I know everything or that I just have all of the solutions. And I don't think that. I've been proven wrong about a lot of stuff. I was proven wrong about something just like a week ago that was pretty fundamental to my worldview. And it happens all the time. When you discover new information, you realize you were incorrect about certain things. However, there are certain conclusions that you've come across all of the information for that not a lot of new developments can be made in them. And then at that point you realize, well, okay, this is just a conclusion that I can agree with these other people on. You know, this is a basic fundamental of my worldview, and that's what I'm gonna say. You know, one example of that would be like the sky is blue. You know, everyone's agreed that the sky is blue. Everyone has agreed that physics work this way, or what's another example? Um, everyone has agreed. I'm trying to find make videos with your friends. I don't have IRL friends. Um, I have internet friends who I could visit, but that takes a while. I would have to get the money to do that again, but I could do that. Um, don't end the streams. I don't have anything to stream about anymore. But like, so there are going to be certain things that you just think that are like a foregone conclusion, you know? Um, I get what you mean. It was the same when No said you'd grow out of statism. Um, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if that happens. I don't think unless like all of the sudden I started saying that like freedom of speech was based or something. I don't it maybe I will, but it depends. It depends on it depends on how you would define statism. Like I don't see myself as a statist necessarily, because a lot of people like they think statism is like the absence of democracy or something. I believe in democracy. I believe in a different kind of democracy, but I believe in democracy nonetheless. Arguably, I believe in a system that's more democratic than the one that we have. So. I don't like this idea that, you know, if you just have an opinion on something, that it's, you know, that it's inherently like trying to be pretentious or something. You know, like I believe the things that I say. If I can be proven wrong, then I'll listen. And I have been proven wrong on certain things. But there's a lot of things that like I haven't been proven wrong on, that I want to be proven wrong on, that I'm trying to seek more information on. And so I think it's a matter of trying to like question yourself constantly. You know, doubt more than anything is important, because if you constantly if you constantly doubt, you know, what you're saying, and if you question it, then that's how you're, you know, that's how you're going to progress. And so you have to doubt every single conclusion you have in order to properly let's see, using the state for public good is cringe because the state can't use force or something. Um, yeah, that it's very confusing. Um, let's see, the word worldview is a misnomer, so is statism, by the way. That makes sense. Nobody identifies as a statist. It's a prerogative used by libertarian types. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. It doesn't make sense to me. And like no thank you thinks that just like having the state do stuff is statism because he doesn't want the government to exist. And I think it's a little bit silly because he told me that I would grow out of wanting a good state and I would become an anarchist because anarchism was just like the more mature opinion. And I don't think that makes sense. Like maybe there's something I'm missing here. Like Noam Chomsky is an anarchist, and that dude's like 90 years old, and so he has a lot of experience. He studied a lot of stuff, but so I don't know. There's a lot of really old people who are anarchists who have a lot of experience. So maybe that's like the mature opinion to have. I really don't get what he meant by that. Like he was saying, well, he was saying like, oh, you'll grow out of having these opinions because this one is more mature because I think it. And I don't. It was very confusing. I don't really know what he meant by that. Uh, what are you trying to see differently? Um, I'm not trying to see anything differently necessarily. Um, but I don't know, like I like finding the truth. Is that's the that's the thing that that I think a lot of people don't try to do when they think about like philosophy or politics or something, is that in order to find the truth, you have to consider all of the information. You have to you have to do as much, you have to do as much research as possible, and try as hard as you can to check the citations, to check the sources, to use logic to try and understand like what's going on. Because if you just look at the headline, if you just try and accept the narrative that's being presented, then you're gonna fall flat on your face because it isn't always that simple. So you have to try really, really hard. You have to try as hard as you can to consider all of the information. Um, and so, uh, yeah, let's see, what was I gonna say? Um, but no, finding the truth is really important. But I tried to tell him that. I tried to tell him, well, the basis of my views is that I want to find the truth, by trying to do as much research as possible, and trying to check the sources that I use. And he just said, well, truth doesn't exist. And it's like, how do I respond to something like that? How do I respond to something like, well, truth doesn't exist? Maybe I'll just get older. Maybe I'll just get older and I'll realize that the mature opinion, quote unquote, is that truth doesn't exist. But there's a lot of people who are mature who don't think that. Who gets to decide that? Why does 20-year-old no thank you get to sit there and decide? I think truth doesn't exist is the mature opinion, even though all I do is sit in my house and drink alcohol all the time. No, who gets to decide that? Like, I don't understand where these invisible lines in the sand are being drawn. That's why I think ad hominem is kind of a dumb argumentation tactic to use, because when you start attacking the person for how much wisdom they do or don't have, or you start attacking their personal character instead of the content of their arguments, then you're going to get into a situation where it's just two people going back and forth at each other going, well, you don't have enough wisdom. You don't have enough wisdom. Like, it doesn't seem very fair. It's not a fair way to argue, because there are people who are like 70 years old who are probably right now both yelling at each other saying, you don't have enough wisdom. No, you don't. It doesn't make sense. It like people can be inexperienced or their brain can be underdeveloped or whatever. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying like the whole argument about the content of people's character or who they are as a person doesn't really seem like it has a place in debates. If you start going to places like that, then you're going to be you're going to be you're going to be not arguing in good faith. Chomsky is an anarcho-syndicalist. Your friend is a libertarian anarchist. Both follow under the umbrella of anarchy, but there's a big difference. Yeah, that is true. The postmodernist cries out in nihilistic pain while he's rude. Yeah, probably. Um, but like, I don't know. It's weird with the people who say truth doesn't exist, because they try to act like truth not existing is the only truth that does exist. But wouldn't that be like a contradiction? Because if you don't believe truth exists while arguing that it doesn't, what you're saying is that the absence of truth is truth itself, right? And so is wouldn't that be a contradiction? And I've tried to say this, but like maybe there's something I'm missing here. Maybe there's something I just don't understand. But oh boy, why do people let stuff like this divide them up? Um, like I don't these things shouldn't divide people so much. They're just simple differences. There's no reason to ad hominem your way at somebody and say, "Oh, you're dumb. You're inexperienced. That's why you disagree with me." I never say that to anybody. Like, I've talked to people who are like 15 or 14 who are like ANCAPs, anarcho-capitalists. They think the free market should run everything and stuff. I don't agree with that, but I never once told them, you'll get smarter when you're as old as me, because they could have that opinion when they're like in their 30s. I've talked to people who are in their 30s. People who are like 35 years old. I have a guy on Discord who is 35 years old who is an anarcho-capitalist, but I've talked to 15 and 14-year-olds who are anarcho-capitalists. Do I think the magic of wisdom is just going to make those kids not be anarcho-capitalists? No. For some of them, they might change their views, but is that the magic of wisdom doing that? I don't think it is. So this idea that people are just going to magically change their stance with the mythical idea of wisdom or something. It doesn't make sense to me because and I don't know a lot about psychology. I'm not a psychologist, but from what I've read, I had a textbook that I read that said basically like what you view and like how you feel about things is going to ultimately be determined by your upbringing, by your experiences. And you can question your biases as much as possible. You can use things like the scientific method, and these kind of things. You can try and be as objective as you can by always doubting and questioning. But that fundamental thing of your biases, you're always going to have biases, and part of being objective is being able to acknowledge that. And um, I may be missing something here, but it seems to me that a lot of people can't just be magically fixed in their views by wisdom. I don't think that's how it works. I think people are just going to have certain opinions on things depending on what their preferences as a person are, depending on what their experience led them to believe. If you're like a big millionaire guy and you invest on the stock market, you're probably not going to like regulation very much. However, if you're like a Christian millionaire and you have a very charitable upbringing talking about certain ethics, maybe you're like a social democrat. There's a lot of millionaires who are social democrats who come out and say this is the right thing to do because we care about people. We want them to be taken care of. Or there's, the billionaire people who become social democrats as a sort of method of control, as a way to keep the society overall more stable, to have more stability, because they don't want upheaval, essentially. They don't want a lot of ruckus, and they have the spare money to give up to do it anyway. And so there's a lot of different types of people that can come about as a result of where they come from. But the fundamental thing is that that's usually what's going to determine like how people think. And you can question, you can be objective, and you can try and put yourself into doubt as much as possible, which is what I try to do. But the thing is that like this magical idea about wisdom isn't always just going to change everything. Um, I don't get it. Um, and again, like if I'm missing something here, please tell me. But have you done the nine axes test? I've never heard of that. It's a worldview full of cognitive dissonance. Why argue for nihilism if there's no point? For the spectacle, bro. LMAO. Yeah. Hey Star, I'm currently dusting my room. Nice. Yeah, that's what's silly to me is that like if there really is no point, then you would have no reason to argue for your points. Um, and I've been a nihilist in the past, and the reason why I stopped being a nihilist is because I saw the logical problems in it. You know, I really don't like Barack Obama at all. Really not a fan. I'm gonna say not a fan of Barack Obama. But he wrote a really interesting book about sort of his like coming to Jesus moment, when he became a Christian later in life, because he just came up with the logical conclusions that led him to be religious. And I thought it was a really fascinating piece. Um, Bert, I have to hold my dog, because like there are, you can have logical arguments for a lot of different things. It just comes down to your preferences as an individual. You can, is what I'm saying making sense? I, I don't know. I'm I'm just flabbergasted today. I think that's what it is. Let me find nine axes test. What is this? I'll take it on stream. Uh, nine axes. Oh, it's this. Okay, I've seen this before. Um, I haven't taken this in a very long time. I let me let me. How many questions are there? Oh, jeez. Okay. 216 questions? Do you okay, vote on your phones now. Do you want me to do the short version of 45 questions or the 216 version? Yes, but short. Okay. No authority should be left unquestioned. Strongly agree. I believe in a higher power. Does it mean like God and stuff? Yeah, I believe in God. Laws should not be based on religion. I agree. Laws should not be based on religion. Sex outside of marriage is immoral. Um, no, I don't think marriage should be like a sacred thing. Having independent nations with the risk of global conflict creates a threat to humanity as a whole. Well, what does that mean? Is it like nations that threaten other countries? Uh, I think the United States is one of those countries. Is that we threaten other countries all the time and go to war all the time. So yeah, I would say that that's bad. Um, dang. Okay. Um, like World War II. Yeah, World War II is a good example. Is a large threat to humanity as a whole. I agree. Humans share a common identity. I agree. Uh, People should think of themselves as citizens of their nation rather than their state. What does that mean? Well, what does that mean? So, the way that I would define a nation is as a group of people with a common culture, a common language, a common identity. I think the new African people are an example of this. The Black Panthers referred to black people in the United States as new Africans. And I would agree with this. I consider black people in the United States their own nation because they share a common culture and identity that's removed from other groups. And actually, the Communist Party of the USA in the 1930s held this view that black people were their own nation. But in the 1950s, with the rise of Eric Broder and these other people, they kind of stopped being as radical. So it kind of depends on what you would define as a nation. I consider a nation to be a group of people with a common language and culture. So, I mean, citizens of your nation, I guess I would have to agree with that. A government must maintain a strong military to defend itself. Strongly agree. We must be accepting to other cultures. It depends. It depends on what the other culture is. You know, if your culture, for instance, has like foot binding or like torture in it, or something like that, I think that's really bad. Um, oh, I'm getting a message right now. One sec. Uh, 89. Okay. My dad was asking me how much money I had. Let me see here. All right. We should be so I'm going to have to I it depends on what the culture is. So I'm going to have to agree but not strongly agree because if the culture is really dangerous, then it shouldn't be accepted, I don't think. Most bad things happening in the world are caused by us turning away from religion. I strongly disagree with that. The bad things that are happening in the world are a cause of systems. It's a good idea to test a policy in one state rather than implementing it nationwide right away. Yeah, I think having small test zones is a fine. Um, Your mother needs to borrow that in order to turn on her electric so that she can have a place to live. Okay. Yeah. All right. People should hold more loyalty than their. I have to send someone money in a sec. But people should hold more loyalty to their local state than their country. I don't think you should hold loyalty to any country. Like if your country is doing bad things, I don't think you should be loyal to that. So I'd have to disagree. Local governments address issues that the national government would never touch without them. I disagree with that. Countries that do not serve our interests should be toppled? I don't. What? That's not good. Hey, I'm new. Are you still a hikikomori? I am no longer hikikomori. No, I'm not a hikikomori anymore. Um, no, I don't think we should topple other countries. That doesn't sound good. Um, toppling other countries is it kind of leads to a lot of people's death. So yeah, that's not good. If we accept migrants at all, it is important that they assimilate into our culture. Well, what do they mean by that? Assimilate into our culture. Like, if they have dangerous or violent culture behind them, then yeah, they should change that. But, like, if they want to preserve their traditions or something, that's fine. So, no, I disagree. A better world will come from science, automation, and technology. Yes, strongly agree. Whistleblowers should be strongly protected. Strongly agree. Democracy is the worst form of government except for all the others we've tried? I what? I uh, I would have to disagree with that. Automation is overall extremely good for society. Strongly agree. Diplomacy only hurts nations. Strongly disagree. People born into wealthy families have unfair success, even when they aren't skilled and don't work hard. Yeah, I agree. A hierarchical state is the best. What do you mean by hierarchical? Uh, like, I don't think the people should just make all of the laws. I think direct democracy is really dumb. So, if you have like a parliament and then the parliament elects different chambers and then those chambers do other things, yeah, that's a form of hierarchy. So I'd say that's good. Strong states weaken a nation. Disagree. The government should be by the people for the people. Strongly agree. Uh, Sorry to interrupt, but if you want, can you talk about how you got out of hikikomori? Thanks. The way I got out was just by um, it was just by like going out more essentially. Even just like opening the window for me was helped a lot. Making sure to have the window open and getting the sunlight, and then eventually I just took small steps into going outside more. Even just like staying in the yard, just staying in the yard and being in the sunlight, and then slowly, working my way into doing walking and stuff, and taking baby steps to talking to other people. It's all about being able to slowly process it. If you do it all at once, it can be really dangerous. But yeah, just like slowly take bite-sized chunks of being able to get out. The more people ask, the better the chance is of reaching the best decision. Yeah, no, I think worker councils are really good. Is that we should bring as many people together as possible to try and talk about the solutions to the problems in this country. So yeah, bring as many people together as possible. International aid is a waste of money. Strongly disagree. People in other countries don't deserve to like die. That's not good. Testing products on animals is ethical. I don't think it's always ethical. Alliances are important for protecting a nation. Yeah, I would agree. The government should have access to all emails of suspected terrorists. Strongly disagree. That is surveillance. Surveillance is bad. Catering to popular opinion is detrimental to a nation. On some things, yes. On some things, the government should not do popular opinion. Uh, if you so, Border protection is important. Who are you bordering with? If like for instance, if you're bordering with like a rival power and they have like tanks on your border or something, I mean you're obviously gonna need border protection because they could invade you at any time or they could, send people into your country to do espionage. So it depends on who you're bordering with. Technology is negatively affecting modern society. I strongly disagree. Um, Borders are dope because maps. Yeah, maps are pretty cool. Incorrect. You need a cute girl to get out of your shell, otherwise it's impossible and you're stuck. Yes, of course. People should have to work for anything they get. Um, I don't think people should have to work for like healthcare and stuff or education. So if you mean literally anything, I think that's wrong. But I think generally people should have to work. Yes, you get a wage based on the amount that you produce. I think that's a pretty logical idea. But you shouldn't have to work for everything. So anything you get, no, I would disagree. Police need more power and protection. Well, the police kill a lot of people who are unarmed in the US. And then in Russia, like police will just attack and kill people. Like the Putin guys is that the people who are protesting Putin, the police come in and they just beat the shit out of people. Sometimes they have the National Guard come in and just beat the shit out of people. So I don't think that's good. Um, so I'd have to disagree. The police do not need more power. War is never justified. I don't think offensive wars are justified, but defensive wars are justified. So I don't know what this would mean. Is it talking about an offensive war where you're invading another country? Um, invading invading other countries is always bad. Never invade someone else. But if they're talking about a defensive war, I don't think that's a bad thing. If they're talking about like, I don't know, aiding a foreign power, aiding a foreign power in like a revolution or something. Let's say there's a country that's really close to you and they're fighting against a dictatorship. There's a dictatorship that's killing a bunch of people are dying and everybody's dead and all this other stuff. And there are revolutionaries in the country who want to fix the country, you know if you want to fund those guys or give them military assistance, I don't see a problem with that necessarily because they're trying to improve their lives. But like with the US, one of the problems is that the revolutionaries we fund are like groups like ISIS or Al Qaeda, which do not want to improve the lives of the countries they're in. They actually want to make their lives worse. So it really depends. I'm just gonna have to go neutral on this one. The very existence of a state is a threat to our liberty. Strongly disagree. It is better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens. Strongly disagree. The benefits of open borders would outweigh the costs. Strongly disagree. The internet should be banned. Strongly disagree. The government should not break up monopolies. Strongly disagree. Countries fall apart with constant war. Yeah, I agree. I support regional unions such as the European Union. Um, the I don't like the EU. I think the EU is bad. But regional unions themselves are fine, so I guess yeah, that's fine. Public utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned. Strongly agree. The government should not fund any religious organizations in any way. Strongly agree. Lasting peace leads to prosperity. Strongly agree. Okay. What were the results that I got? Okay. It says federal and then utinary. So I'm neutral on federal versus utinary. And then it says I'm moderately democratic. So I have 65% democracy and 35% authority. Fanatic globalist, jeez. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Fanatic globalist, 95% globalism. That's that I didn't expect that. Um Pacifist, 70% pacifist. Yeah. Um I don't like going to war with people. 75% freedom, 100% equality. Oh boy, that one does not surprise me at all. The fanatic equality. That's nice. Extreme secular. So 80% secular, and then 85% progress versus tradition. So an extreme progressive, and then what is this? Assimilationist or multiculturalist? I'm neutral on. So yeah, that was my results. Look at how much of a statist I am. I'm so much of a statist, guys. Come on. Um, Let me see here. War helps getting the Hikis out of their shell, which in turn reduces pent-up frustration. Whether you are on the winning, or whether you are on the winning or losing side, war is a win-win scenario. I don't think I don't think war necessarily helps Hikis get out of their house, because like it puts you in kind of a traumatic situation where like you know, you I feel like people should have to get out of their house in a way that's like healthy and constructive. You know, like my fear would be that if like the tanks come to your house, obviously you're gonna have to leave, but you might end up like having a panic attack in the forest or something. So I don't know. That doesn't sound good to me. Uh, Extremely based, friend. Big agree. Nice. Good job, Goy. So you're a leftist. I am a leftist. Nice results. Thank you. Um, but why? I wish. I wish I wish this charger would charge the phone more effectively. Is this? Sending aid to other countries requires a state and taxes. Status scum. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just such an evil status that I that I want to lift people out of poverty. How could I forget? Let me see here. What's going on my anime list today? Uh, I don't have any new notifications. Oh, it's I330. I thought that guy died. I didn't even know he was still around. It's nice to see you here on the stream. Mal is the most based social media site. I agree. Mal is like the only good social media site. Dude, what's going on Twitter today? I don't know why I made a Twitter. I've hated Twitter for so long, but I made Twitter so I could keep up with what other people were doing. See, this is how much of a normie I've become. Ugh. Twitter is awful. Twitter's pretty bad. I'm not following enough accounts from quotes from the Torah. This is a problem. I have never found a person who enjoys Twitter. I almost never use Twitter. I only use it to keep up with what's going on. I know, right? I was forced to make one by my internet friends. Twitter is pure cancer. I think there's some good memes on there every now and again. Hmm. Twitter or flashcards? Which way, white man? Oh no! Oh no! I listen. You can have both. Yeah. I can't believe people remember that video. That video is so old. Um, well, the thing was, at the time, I was constantly using Twitter, and now I only check it like once a day now. Hmm. Who's messaging me? Who knew tankies would change the server dynamic this much? Wait, what happened? I wasn't paying attention. Oh wow, there's like 100 messages since I was gone. What the hell? I came up with a new site that combines YouTube and Twitter. It's called Tuber. Yes. Individualists are attracted to an individualist ideology. Don't be shocked. Comrades, on this day marks the death of Mao Zedong, the unreading son. What is happening in the server right now? Let's see. Okay. May he rest in power. Okay. Fucking Maoists. Oh boy, now they're getting mad at each other. I like this. The first thing that comes up when I put a J in my phone is Juche. Oh. What other streaming platforms are you streaming on? I only use YouTube. Well, if this is the last stream, it was dope. Got classes to go to now. Maybe I'll DM you later, Star. Yeah, it'd be cool to talk. Hmm. Where are you reading from these comments? I'm reading them from the Shonen Ronin Discord server. Hashtag Shonen Ronin. Hashtag, yeah, this one. The Shonen Ronin Discord server. Uh, we have a Discord server for Shonen Ronin. Do you know the Shonen Ronin YouTube channel? Look on Shonen Ronin, the YouTube channel, and in like the description of some of the videos, you'll find the Discord server there. Um, uh, let's see. Wow, so many servers. Yeah, okay. Oh, my dad's messaging me again. We're checking on a cheaper unit, so maybe we can avoid that. I'll help in any way that I can. Okay. Let me see. All right. Let's see. What Discord servers am I in? Okay. So Discord servers. Let's All Love Jalen, Shonen Hell, Cherry's Endless Hunting Expedition, Finbal's Commune. Uh, let's see.